This is an iron frame which is called as the magnetic core. There are two windings. One is called as primary winding. The other is secondary winding. When we apply the voltage to the primary winding, that is a single phase AC supply, the primary voltage, let us call it as VP, the primary voltage. This voltage will create a current in the primary winding, and whenever current flows in the primary winding, due to the magnetic effect of current, a magnetic flux is produced, and that flux is phi, that is magnetic flux. Applied voltage is AC, therefore the magnetic flux produced is also AC, alternating in nature. This flux is established readily in the magnetic core as shown. The flux in the magnetic core, which is produced in the primary, links with the secondary winding. Primary winding has NP number of turns. Secondary winding has NS number of turns. The flux produced in the primary linking with secondary through mutual induction. The flux linked with primary is linking with secondary. Flux is alternating in nature. Therefore, the flux produced in primary linking with secondary, which is changing in nature, will produce a mutually induced EMF called as ES in the secondary. This ES itself will appear as the secondary voltage Vs. It appears as the secondary voltage Vs. So like this, you can find the electric power applied to the primary gets transferred to secondary through mutual induction. We can connect a load now to consume electrical power. So, the power in primary is given by Vp into Ip. Ip is the primary current in primary winding. Vp into Ip is input electric power. Similarly, whenever we connect a load, a current Is, which is called as secondary current, will flow in the secondary winding. Therefore, the output power is Vs Is, Vs into Is. So like this, we find that the primary power Vp Ip gets transferred into the secondary power through mutual induction. This is how a transformer works through the principle of mutual induction. Now let us go through the types of transformers. As per our curriculum, we are confining to only single phase transformer, but however, for information, there are two types of transformers: single phase transformer, three phase transformer. In single phase transformer, depending on the construction, there are two types: core type and shell type transformers based on the construction. Let us go through the constructional aspects of the transformer. core type transformer, single phase core type. Through a simple symbolic figure, we can understand how a typical core type transformer is. This is the magnetic core. This core is made up of silicon steel laminations. These are the laminations. A stack of laminations is formed in this shape, and this is called as the magnetic core. This portion is called as yoke. This is also yoke. The portion around which the windings are placed is called as core. So this portion is magnetic core of the transformer. Now you can find the windings. You can call this as primary winding or primary coil. This is secondary winding or secondary coil. So we find a typical core type of transformer of this nature, but in practice half of primary is placed on one limb or one core, remaining half of the primary is placed on another ring, as we can see here. This is done for better mutual induction and better performance of transformer. So half of primary is placed on one limb, the remaining half is placed on the other limb. Similarly, secondary winding, half portion is placed on one limb, the remaining half surrounding the primary is placed on the other core limb. Okay? So this is to ensure better mutual induction and the consequent performance. So this is a core type transformer. Symbolically, this core type transformer is shown like this. The magnetic core, half primary here, half primary here, surrounded by secondary, the remaining half portion. Like this. So this is primary. Which is hatched with square hatches, and this can be shown as the secondary winding. So this is about the construction of core type transformer. Let us go through shell type transformer. Wherein you will find typically 3 vertical limbs. The middle limb is having double width with respect to that of the side limbs. These are side limbs. The middle limb is twice in width. And around this middle limb, the windings are placed. This is primary winding, and this is the secondary winding. So you can find this hatched portion as primary winding, and this is secondary winding. So you can find this as a shell type transformer. Central limb is twice in width. That is the typical nature of shell type transformer. And you find here the windings are covered in majority by the iron portion forming a shell-like structure. Therefore, it is called as shell type transformer. Okay? So this is about the construction of shell type transformer. Okay? Normally, shell type transformer is used for small rating transformer. Core type is used for higher power rating transformer. The windings in case of the transformer are made up of copper wire. Copper wire. So in primary, NP number of turns are incorporated. In secondary, NS number of turns are incorporated. The working of transformer, let us elaborate in the next discussion. So as we have seen, through mutual induction, the primary electric power Vp/Ip get transferred to the secondary winding. There is no conduction. The power transfer is exclusively through magnetic mutual induction. So that point you have to understand properly. Let us go through the further aspect, that is EMF equation. And before going to that, the transformer is symbolically shown in another simple way like this. This is primary, this is secondary. If you show two lines in between two coils, this is indicating the presence of core and these are the windings. And if there is no core, then these lines are not shown. This is called as air core transformer. There is no iron core, only air core is present. That is called as air core transformer. In practice, transformers have iron magnetic core which work more efficiently. Okay? So this is a symbolic representation of a transformer. Let us go through EMF equation. For EMF equation, we need to refer to this diagram. Expression for EMF equation. So as we have seen, whenever a voltage Vp, AC voltage is applied to the primary winding, an alternating flux is produced. That flux links with secondary and there will be a mutually induced EMF produced in the secondary. Prior to that, you will be having EP produced in the primary. EP is called as self-induced EMF. Whenever we have applied single phase AC supply through a voltage Vp, the flux is produced in the primary. That flux is alternating in nature. It is linking with primary itself. And this flux being alternating in nature, the flux linked with the primary terms is changing. Therefore, as per Faraday's law, you will find an EMF induced in the primary coil itself called as self-induced EMF EP. ES is mutually induced EMF through mutual induction as per Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. So this principle once again just I have reminded. So in this EMF equation we need to follow certain formalities. We have to write the symbols used, that is Vp is primary voltage, EP is self-induced EMF in primary winding, ES is mutually induced EMF in secondary winding. Vs is secondary terminal voltage. And similarly, you can list down this symbol, that is IP is primary current, IS is secondary current, phi is magnetic flux in Webers. And for our reference, ES, all these voltages are in volts. Let us take current in amperes, flux is in Webers. With this list of symbols, let us go through a simple derivation for the expression for EMF induced in primary and secondary, that is EP and ES. For that, we need to refer to a waveform of the flux. As we know, the flux in the core is alternating in nature, sinusoidal. This is the time period T, seconds. This is T by 4 seconds. This is the peak value, first positive peak of the flux. Now you can easily understand, within a time between 0 and T by 4 seconds, flux changes from 0 to phi m, peak value, 0 to phi m within a time 0 to T by 4 seconds. So therefore, EMF induced is given by d phi by dt in general. D phi is change in flux, which is from phi m to 0 to phi m within a time T by 4 seconds. So therefore, EMF induced in the coil, EMF induced in the coil is given by phi m by T by 4, that becomes 4 times phi m by T, 4 times phi m by T. 1 by T is frequency. So therefore, this is written as 4 times F phi m volts. So EMF induced in the coil of one turn. In one turn, this much EMF is induced. So this is called as average induced EMF. Average induced EMF. This is average value that has to be converted into RMS value. Okay. So knowing form factor, that is RMS value by average value, is typically 1.11 for sinusoidal waveform. So using this relation, we can convert this average EMF to RMS value as RMS induced EMF is 1.11 times the average value, which is 4 F phi m, which eventually becomes 4.44 F phi m volts. F phi m volts. So this voltage is in one turn. In one turn, this much voltage is induced. If you consider the primary winding having NP number of turns, hence in primary winding with NP turns, EMF induced in primary winding, EP is equal to 4.44 F phi m into NP volts RMS. NP volts RMS. With the similar arguments, EMF in secondary winding with NS turns is ES equal to 4.44 F phi m NS volts. NS volts. So in this way, you find the two expressions for the EMFs. One is primary EMF, another is secondary EMF. So these are called as EMF equations for primary and secondary. Now let us go through the further implications. For ideal transformer, primary power in primary wind side is equal to power in secondary side. That is, Vp Ip is equal to Vs Is. There is no loss in case of ideal transformer. So assuming zero loss, power loss, we can consider primary power is equal to secondary power. That is called as ideal transformer, wherein we are finding Vp Ip equal to Vs Is. So with this consideration, we get some important informations and definitions hereafter. Also, Vp is approximately equal to Ep in ideal transformer. Vs is approximately equal to Es. So with these considerations, you can easily find Vs by Vp is equal to Ip by Is. That is also equal to Es by Ep. Es by Ep. If you substitute the expression for Es and Ep, you will be finding in place of Es 4.44 F phi m NS by 4.44 F phi m NP. So you will find this is NS by NP also. Es by Ep eventually becomes NS by NP also. NS by NP also. And this ratio is called as transformation ratio. K. This voltage, this ratio is called as K, which is transformation ratio. So through this discussion, we have understood that K is transformation ratio given by Vs by Vp, which is basically Es by Ep, and which is also equal to Ip by Is, and also Ns by Np. Ns by Np. See, this is voltage transformation ratio, or commonly called as transformation ratio. If K is greater than 1, means Ns greater than Np, or Vs greater than Vp, the transformer is step-up transformer. This is called as step-up transformer. Voltage increases. Voltage increases in this process. If K is less than 1, that is Ns smaller than Np, or Vs smaller than Vp, then this transformer is called as step-down transformer. So as we have seen in applications, sometimes we need to increase the voltage, sometimes we need to decrease the voltage. So those applications you will find in the power system in different stages. For example, whenever you are using an electronic appliance, say a cassette player, then you are reducing the voltage from 230 to 12 volt or 9 volt. So here you will require a step down transformer, 230 volt to 12 volt. Step down action is required. This is an example for step down action. Similarly, you will find step up function in the power system in the generating station premises. The generated voltage in the generators is 11 kV. For transmission, the voltage has to be increased to 220 kV. Here, in this application, we need a step-up transformer to increase the voltage from 11 kV to 220 kV. So, this is a narration on the transformation ratio. Also, often we come across another definition called as turns ratio. Turns ratio, that is Np by Ns. Okay, so we should not have any confusion about this. Turns ratio is Np by Ns. Sometimes you get another definition called as voltage ratio. It is not transformation ratio, it is voltage ratio, which is Vp by Vs. Vp by Vs. So in this way, you will find voltage ratio defined as Vp by Vs, primary voltage by secondary voltage. So typically, in practice, the specifications of a transformer if you refer, is like this: power rating. How much power it can handle, that is power rating, is called as Q, kVA or MVA. Power rating of a transformer is given in kVA or MVA. M stands for mega, megavolt ampere or kilovolt ampere or volt ampere if it is a small transformer. Then you will be having Vp by Vs. What is the primary voltage and how much is the secondary voltage. So this information is written on the transformer. Then you will find frequency, current and remaining details, the type, etc. you will be finding. So mainly you will find this information, Vp by Vs. First voltage is primary. The voltage in the denominator is always the secondary voltage. So that we need to remember. So that is about the EMF equation. After EMF equation, let us go through the performance of a transformer, that is losses and efficiency of a transformer. For any electrical machine, there will be losses. We are giving some power into the machine and taking some power out of the machine. In between, there will be a small amount of power loss taking place in all electrical machines. Let us enumerate what are the various losses in the transformer. One is iron losses, or called as core losses. Iron losses and core losses mean the same. This occurs in the iron portion. This occurs in the iron portion of the transformer, which is magnetic core. Therefore, it is typically called as core loss or iron loss. There are two losses under this title. One is hysteresis loss. Another is eddy current loss. Hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. So these are the two losses under the title iron losses. The second type of loss that we find is copper loss. As the name itself indicates, copper loss occurs in copper part of the transformer. As you know, windings are made up of copper wire, copper turns. So in the windings, you will find the copper loss. Copper loss is basically of the form I squared R. It is basically of the form I squared R. As all of you know, any copper conductor will be having a resistance R, and whenever you pass a current I in the conductor, there will be heat produced, and that itself is called as copper loss. That is I squared into R. This is the common form. Therefore, in primary winding or coil, the copper loss is IP squared RP. RP is resistance of primary winding. IP is the current in primary winding. So IP squared RP watts. Copper loss occurs in the primary winding. Similarly, in secondary winding, the copper loss is I squared RS. RS is secondary winding resistance. IS is current in the secondary winding watts. So like this, you will find the total losses, total copper loss in the transformer as IP squared RP plus IS squared RS watts. That is total copper loss. This is iron loss. So let us have a look into some additional part of this hysteresis loss and eddy current loss, which is often required. This eddy current loss is indicated by WE. Hysteresis loss is indicated by, say, WH. Eddy current loss is given by a formula KE Bm squared F squared T squared into V. So as you know, this Bm is flux density. Bm is flux density of magnetic core. Flux density in the magnetic core. F is frequency in hertz. T is thickness of laminations. As we have seen, the magnetic core is not solid. It is made up of thin laminations. Thickness of each lamination is T. More the number of laminations, less will be the thickness, and less the thickness of each lamination, eddy current will be less. V is volume of core, magnetic core, volume of magnetic core, and this is in watts. This is in watts. So therefore, if you multiply this part, which is specific eddy current loss, with the volume, you will get total eddy current loss in the machine. That is eddy current loss. So what information you gather from this is, eddy current loss is proportional to square of the flux density and square of the frequency. And it is proportional to thickness. Smaller the thickness, less will be the eddy current loss. Hence, to reduce WE, eddy current loss, core is laminated. So in order to have less eddy current loss, we laminate the core with thin laminations. So that is an account of eddy current loss. Similarly, hysteresis loss, a brief account. Is given by WH equal to eta is a constant, Bm raised to 1.6 F V. V is volume. So here eddy current loss depends on eta. Eta is a typical quantity, constant, depending on the material that we are using. If you use a high silicon content, eta will be less. If you use less silicon content, eta will be more, and accordingly hysteresis loss will be more. This is supply frequency. As usual, V is the volume and this is flux density. So this is hysteresis loss that you will find in the transformer core. So with an information of all the losses in this transformer, we can go for power stages. Power stages in a transformer. So in this discussion, let us have a clear picture regarding iron loss. They are always constant. Iron losses are always constant. Copper losses are variable. Copper losses are variable depending on load. Depending on load. So what is the meaning of load? Load is the device which we connect to the secondary side. If we connect a load of lower impedance, the transformer will be delivering more power. So depending on load, the power transaction takes place. If there is a transformer, say 1 kVA transformer, so its power handling capacity is 1 kVA only. We cannot derive more power than this. That is called as the rated power. If we connect a load such that if this transformer is delivering this much amount of power, then we say that the transformer is fully loaded. The transformer is fully loaded. If we put a load on this transformer such that this transformer is loaded to this extent, 2 kVA, then we call that the transformer is on half load. The transformer is on half load. So that is the meaning of load. Depending on the load, currents will be changing, and depending on current, the value of copper loss changes. So in general, iron losses are indicated by PC, PI. Copper loss is indicated by PC and PI. So this PI is constant at all loads, constant always. Copper loss is variable depending on load. More load, more losses. So in general, PC is given by x square times the load current. X times the load current square into resistance. X times the load current squared into resistance. So power, the copper loss is proportional to square of the load. That is x squared. Okay. So to give a clear idea regarding this, which is useful in solving the problems, if copper loss at full load is 100 watts, that is at x equal to 1. X equal to 1 means full load. Copper loss is 100 watts. At half load means x equal to 0.5 or half. So at half load, the copper loss is x squared times the copper loss at full load. Please understand, copper loss at x times load. Copper loss at x times load. X, if it is 1, it is full load. X is equal to 0.5, half load. X equal to 0.25, 1/4 load, and so on. So copper loss at x times load in general is x square times copper loss at full load. So therefore, copper loss at half load is 0.5 in place of x squared. 100 is the copper loss at full load. So this becomes 25 watts. 25 watts. So please note, full load copper loss is 100, half load copper loss is 25 watts. So the variation in copper loss takes place in square proportion with respect to the variation in load. So that is, this idea you need to carry while solving the problems for the efficiency in for the transformer. So this idea, let us go through the power stages. Power stages indicate how the power is transacted in a transformer. So first block indicates electric input power a part of this power is lost in the form of copper loss in primary winding. Then the power enters the magnetic core. In the magnetic core, there will be iron losses or core losses occurring. Then a small amount of power is lost in the form of iron losses. A major amount of power goes further and it will appear in the secondary as electric output power. And before that you will find another loss, that is once again a part of power is lost in the secondary winding. So as you can see, input electric power, a part of power is lost in the primary as copper loss in primary winding. Then there will be one more power loss in the magnetic core, that is iron losses. Then remaining power flows further. Another small part of power is lost in the secondary as copper loss in secondary winding, and remaining amount of power will be available at the output terminals as electric output power. So in this way you will find the electric input power in general as Vp Ip and the output power is Vs Is. In practice, Vs Is will be smaller than Vp Ip because of the losses occurring in a transformer. Ideally, Vp Ip is equal to Vs Is, ignoring the losses. So this is about the power stages in a transformer. So knowing the input power, output power and the total losses in a transformer, we can go through a small derivation for efficiency of transformer. Output power at X times full load and power factor cos phi. This is usually called as load power factor cos phi. Output power of the transformer at X times full load and load power factor cos phi is given by X times Vs Is cos phi. So you know in the diagram what is Vs Is, X cos phi. Cos phi depends on the load. Cos phi depends on the type of the load that we are connecting. If you are connecting resistive load, cos phi is 1. Inductive load, cos phi will be less than 1. This is output power. Total losses at X times full load. Total losses in a transformer at X times full load is X squared Pc or Wc plus iron losses, that is Wi, where please understand Wc is full load copper loss. Wi is a constant, iron loss. Iron losses. You may use the symbols Pc and Pi also. Okay. So WC and WI are the two losses that we have. So what is input power? Input power is equal to output power plus all these losses, total losses. That is Vx times Vs Is cos phi plus x square times Wc plus Wi. So in this way we have got output power and input power, and readily you can find the efficiency expression for efficiency. As all of you know, efficiency is given by a symbol eta equal to output power divided by input power. So you substitute these expressions: x Vs Is cos phi divided by x Vs Is cos phi plus x square times Wc plus Wi. So this is the expression for efficiency for transformer. So you need to know what is Vs, Is, the load power factor, the fraction of load, whether x is 1, 0.5, 0.25, something, whatever is specified, that you need to know. By substituting in this formula, you will be getting the value of efficiency of a transformer. So in the next session, we will go through a few problems wherein the utility of this formula will be demonstrated, and we will solve some examples on EMF equation. Thank you for your